Good morning, everyone. We're looking at Proverbs chapter 22 this morning, and I've just chosen the first 7 verses for us to look at. I'm not going to make a lot of commentary actually this morning because a lot of these verses are pretty plain in their meaning. I don't think they need a lot of explanation, but they are profound in the impact that they can have on our lives as we put them into practice. So I just like to read them out and have you think about them and consider them and how you would apply them in your own life. It begins, chapter 22, verse 1, "Choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver or gold. The rich and the poor have this in common. The Lord made them both. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. True humility and fear of the Lord lead to riches, honor, and long life. Corrupt people walk a thorny, treacherous road. Whoever values life will avoid it. Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. Just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender." These are great verses to consider. They touch a lot of different parts of life, from child rearing to how we deal with money, to planning for the future, to having respect for a person because all of us are made by God and in the image of God, choosing reputation and having our conduct and our character be more important than the size of our bank account. Wonderful things to think about. How if we walk the road of evil, that it's a thorny road, and how much better our life is when we follow God's way and avoid those things. I read these from the New Living Translation of the Bible to you today. I normally use the New King James Version, but I just thought that for these particular verses and for us to just kind of talk about these in a more colloquial manner, that this translation simplified these verses, these proverbs a little bit, making for a little bit easier discussion and for us to digest the meaning. But I would encourage you to go back and read them in other versions of the Bible as well, because the New Living Translation is not a word-for-word translation. It's a thought-for-thought translation. So the editors here are trying to give you the best idea of what they think the thought of the proverb is, rather than the other translators of the King James or New King James or other versions are trying to pick the best word that corresponds to the original text. Both can be useful. For most Bible study, I prefer a word-for-word translation because it takes the editor out of the job of trying to be an interpreter as well and just leaves him the job of translation. Anyway, read through these verses, consider them for yourself. Have a great day. Bye.